All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Enhanced Sports Show. It's another great Saturday afternoon here, and I'm glad you're all being here to be a part of it. My name is Louis Tenor, as you might know by now. Number to call is 512-543-4662. Once again, 512-543-4662. And we'll be here just before 6 o'clock when Russell McGee takes over for his fine program. Don't forget, you can also check us out on YouTube. Just type in YouTube and go to YouTube and type in the Enhanced Sports Show, and you'll hear the show in its entirety. All right, we got a lot to cover this week. The NFL is now moving with conference conference finals, the AFC and the NFC. That's going to be big games tomorrow. But I think we'll start with a wrap up of last week's games. Let me bring in everybody here. We'll bring in Steve Davison first. Steve, are you there? Good. All right. I'm sorry to say some of our regulars will not be with us today for unforeseen circumstances, but we'll try to do the show the best we can. And of course, you have our thoughts and condolences too. Uh, Steve Kent. There we go. Good. I gotta get this. I gotta get this right here. Mikey, Matt, Matthew. All right. Yeah. Try to speak up a bit. You're right. Yeah, be careful. Okay. And Alan's here. I think. All right. Okay. So let's begin. All right, we'll wrap up with first with the NFL last week's schedule. Um, yeah, well, Ravens, yeah, they did a bang up job on the Texans, 34-10. I kind of figured I was going to go that way too. I didn't think that the Texans were going to stack up against Lamar Jackson and the almighty Ravens. I mean, they got away with one win in the wild card playoffs, but I kind of thought Texas was going to run out going against the Ravens. So Stroud, who should get Rookie of the Year, passed for 175 yards. Lamar Jackson had 100 rushing yards with 11 carries and 2 touchdowns. And Collins had 68 receiving yards in an easily convincing win. I wasn't surprised by that. Anybody else that was surprised by that? Or am I the only one? Steve, let's start with you. Steve Kent. Oh, yeah. Yes. Houston, you didn't have a problem. Houston, you are the problem, as I've said before. Right, Mikey? Yeah, yeah, I kind of went what I expected. How about you, Matt? Yes, right. Yes. Alan, your thoughts? Yeah. Well, to read to recap what this article says here, Lamar Jackson did answer some tough questions about his playoff chops in the win over the Texans, but he had a lot of help. Oh, yeah, he sure did. The Ravens' dominated defense did not show any signs of rust after shutting down rookie sensation CJ Stroud as the Ravens head to the NFC title game tomorrow and will meet the Chiefs as the Bills, they tried, but they just came up a little short. Jackson accomplished everything as well as everything in the regular season, and likely headed towards his second MVP. If he's not MVP, I don't know who is. But he's only 1 for 3 in playoffs, and he's hoping that 2 more victories will shut those doubters right up. Well, they better. Jackson recorded his third 100 rushing yard game, surpassing Colin Kaepernick for most by a quarterback. He is the fourth player in NFL history to record 100 yards and 100 rushing yards and two touchdown passes in a playoff game, and the first since Kaepernick back in 2012. Wow, that long ago? I must be getting old. In the process, Jackson shared the narrative that he could not only win the postseason after only winning a one playoff game in the last 5 seasons. This is the first time since 1970 that the city of Baltimore, not counting the Ravens, will host an AFC title game, dating back to the Colts. That's a long time ago. Of course, remember, the Colts moved to the AFC after the merger happened in 1970, even though they did play the Jets once in the previous Super Bowl before that. But that was before the merger. Yeah, so, you know, Jackson really did have to come up with that because there are some of those doubters thinking, he's gonna choke in the playoffs anyway. He's not as great as everybody thinks he is. I disagree. I think Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback and he's done wonders for the Ravens. There's gotta be some naysayers you choke in the playoffs, you can't carry the team through what it counts. Nah, I didn't buy that at all. I knew that sooner or later that Jackson was gonna shine in the postseason and doubt those naysayers. He's done it so far, and I think if he stays on the right game, that they're going to they're going to win tomorrow's game, and they'll head to the Super Bowl. Now, of course, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I like what Jackson's done, and he's really taking this step forward with the Ravens, and I don't think they're going to have any trouble at all tomorrow. All right, Steve, your thoughts on Jackson's performance and everything else I've said about him? Yes. Yeah. No, I'm not knocking the Chiefs or anything, of course not, because of course Patrick Mahomes, is a great quarterback, but I think he's starting to slip a little. I think he's starting to lose a little bit of momentum. So I'm not going to take anything away from Kansas City because they can be tough. And I think it will be a very close game, but I think Lamar is going to have a little bit of the upper hand with that offense that the Ravens have. All right, I continue on, Steve. Steve, yeah, go on. Steve Davidson. I'm sorry I cut him off. Go ahead, Steve Davidson. Finish up. Just go with your question. All right, Steve Ken, you're go ahead. Yes. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not surprised by that. We kind of figuring he's getting up there in age, and how many has he got left in him anyway? So you may have some there. I mean, I'm not knocking Andy Reid. I think he's a great coach, but all things do come to an end. So I guess in this case, it's going to be now or never. Hate to shut. Hate to think about that. Uh, Matt, your thoughts? Oh, yeah. Right. Yes. Yes. Right. Right. I think I agree with you. Alan, your thoughts? Yes, absolutely. No. All right. Mike, you really think it's going to be this year? I don't know. I think he's got maybe 1 or 2 good years left in him. Yeah, that's more realistic. I don't know if they get back to a Super Bowl with that, but I think you gotta give them at least 1 or 2 more years. All right, on to the next game. 49ers and Packers in a good one, just as I expected. 24-21. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, sort of. 252 yards and a touchdown. Jones had 108 rushing yards on 18 carries, and Dubas had 83 receiving yards. Not a bad game, I do say so myself. And Christian McCaffrey had, I think, 2 touchdowns as well. Jordan Love, he made a good effort of it, but he's no Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if Love alone would take him to the Super Bowl. I mean, yes, they did have an upset win against the Cowboys. Thank you very much, Steve. I know what you're thinking, but I didn't think that he was gonna do it all against the 49ers because they have 49ers had a good defense and Purdy just stayed on his game and was able to take care of that. So going into tomorrow, that should be I think it's going to be a better game against the Lions. I still have that Lions as my sleeper pick. But if Purdy can stay in his game, I think it's going to be a very long afternoon out in California. It's, you know, this game has, NFC, has indications all over it. This is going to be like a game of the ages, as what the critics have been saying. We'll just have to see about that. I mean, I'm not going to, be premature about it, but they're looking at this lineup to be almost as like a heavyweight fight and like a Olympic style ratings, like back from like 1984 and whatnot. We'll see. I mean, 50 million did watch the division championship last week. That says something. You got two heavyweight quarterbacks going into this, and it's gonna be a knockdown, drag out fight that I think could go all the way down to the final minute. From what I'm saying, it should be a good game either way, unless somebody obviously gets hurt, and that could change the whole complexity of the game right there. But I'm hoping for a good, clean, solid game with this. So, Steve, what do you make of tomorrow's NFC match between the 49ers and the Lions? No guns. No guns. I wouldn't doubt it. Steve Kent. Ooh. Yeah, I heard because he wasn't going to play in the beginning. Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. So the thing about what happened going to Debo Samuel, he apparently was okay after being knocked out of the divisional playoff game against the Packers on Saturday. He was knocked out on the first drive in their dramatic come from behind win against the Packers, which I'm happy about. Happy that they won, that is. After a short catch, Samuel was fighting multiple defenders trying to get extra yardage. Jari Alexander came in from the side and hit him in the helmet. Then Samuel stayed down for a minute after the tackle. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, guys. I got told to call back later. Yeah, got told to call back. Yeah, that was a video message, not audio. So anyway, he did not go to the medical tent right away, but did after a short time after he came off the field. Well, I think he should have went anyway. He was evaluated for a head injury. His return was questionable. He was cleared from and then returned for a few plays, but Fox, who broadcasted the game, showed trainers on the sideline working shortly after they ruled him out. I'm going to try to call on the other line. Yeah, I'll call the other line. So, but you're saying that is that was not going to play. So now he's going to play, and I don't know. I might be taking a big risk, though. I mean, shoulder almost had a concussion. I don't know if that's a good idea. Does anybody think that it's jumping the gun? I know it's for the championship game, but you got to think about his safety and whatnot. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Steve. Right. I don't have to think so too. Yeah. Yes. Mike, your thoughts? Should be. It should be exciting. I do too. Okay, we got a call from the New Jersey area. Um, is it Kayla or Greg that's on the line? Kayla, yeah, you can try anything. I mean, we're doing a sports show here, so if you have any questions, just bring it up. Football, basketball, whatever. Yeah, go easy on her, guys. She's new here, but she's a good friend of mine. All right, and if Greg wants to call, tell him to call in before 6 o'clock. Yeah. All right. So moving on. All right. Yeah. All right. But you have any thoughts on tomorrow's football action, though? Oh, well, let me break it down for you. Okay, we're down to four games, two games, with four teams, and we have the Ravens, the 49ers, the Lions, and the Chiefs. I mean, anybody who's a football fan or a Nova football fan knows what this game is all about. So, any, any tomorrow's? Yeah, I'm on the air, Greg. All right, Greg. Any questions? Yeah. Any questions, Greg? I'm back. Oh, yeah. Okay, Greg, I'm here. Probably not. Yes. Mm. Yeah. Ah, right. Yeah, they are. I think you're right. Well, yeah. Well, that's just how something systems work, though. But that's just how it goes. Yeah. But anyway, it's yeah. Please do. Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, yeah. Well, they were good in the first half, but then they really just bombed down in the second. They lost by about 20 points. I mean, they can't guard, they can't defend. Well, today's Seton Hall game against today's Seton Hall game. They just yeah, they are too deep. Yeah, right. Yes, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's something I would have said. All right. Oh boy, that's what I would have said. Yes. All right. Moving back on the moving back on the football, we got the Lions playing tomorrow against the 49ers. The Lions beat the Buccaneers. I'm still here. Uh, Baker Mayfield had 349 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Gibbs had 74 rushing yards, 9 carries, 1 touchdown, and Evans 147 yards, 1 touchdown. Um, you know, Mayfield, gave it a good fight, but still, Goff, he's taking the Lions, to new heights. I mean, if anybody's going to be able to, carry the Lions, it's got to be Goff with that. Goff against Brock, though. That's what I meant by the heavyweight fight there. That should be the best game. That should be the best of the two, and hopefully he can stay on his game, and they can give the 49ers a run for their money. Uh, Ken, do you want to say anything? Pardon me. I Okay, go on. I'm still here, guys. Yeah. All right. Okay. Matt, your thoughts? Yeah, with the Lions. Mhm. Yeah, I think he's gonna play. He's been cleared. I think. Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah. Huh. Mhm. You think it's gonna be a low scoring game? Mm. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be that kind of a low scoring game. I think it's gonna be somewhere in the middle, like around, in the high 20s or low 30s. They both have good offenses, so I think it's gonna be relying on that. Now, don't tell me your picks yet for these games yet, guys. We're gonna do it later in the show. I just want to recap on everything for this week, last week that is. Okay, so turning on to basketball now. LeBron James recorded his record 20th All Star selection, headlines before yesterday's Thursday's announcement of the starters for the All Star game next month. Next week we'll do the reserves. He entered the season tied with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of my favorite players, with 19 appearances. This year's All Star game will go back to the East West format, which is a good idea. I didn't like that other stuff; it was too gimmicky. Team LeBron versus Team Luca or whatever. Whatever the case may be. I'm glad they're going back to basics because that's what you need. Remember, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Um, James will serve as captain and will join the Western Conference lineup along with the Mavericks guard Luka Doncic, Thunder guard Shai Alexander, Nuggets guard Nikola Jokic, and Suns forward Kevin Durant. For the East, yes, Gerald. Okay, we'll do your story in a little while. Just gonna do the NBA right now. The Eastern Conference will feature Sixers center Joel Embiid, who had a monster game on Monday night. Celtics forward Jason Tatum. Yuck. Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton. Bucks teammates, the Greek freak and Damian Lillard, or some say Lillard. We'll start with the East. Just a little joke, folks. LeBron has not missed an All Star game appearance since his rookie season. He has won 3 All-Star MVP awards and has been a team captain for the last 6 seasons when the league hosted a draft of the 24 participants last season. Not a good idea. They didn't need a draft anyway. That was dumb. Um, last season was the first since the 2017 All-Star game that LeBron played the game on a losing effort. It was also the last time um, that the All-Star game used the East-West format. So, what do you make of this line for the All Star game? Your thoughts, Steve Davidson? Start with you. Yeah, I did. The starters. I'll repeat them again. You might get a reserve. You might get a reserve role. You're right. Okay. Now, mm, well, Steve, I think the fans have too much control of who gets to the All Star game because they make it too much like a popularity contest. If you really want, true honesty of how this should be done, I think the coaches and the players should have the majority of the say. Then the media, and then the fans get a small part of it because the fans do not control the game. it's really up to the owners and whatnot. The fans, get too much involved in it. It's just like a popularity contest, and that's not how it should be done. I really don't. But, for the folks at home, which Nick player are you referring to? I know who it is, but for anybody else who doesn't know, Steve. For those who don't know, which Nick player are you referring to? Bruson, Jalen Bruson. His father played on the '99 team when they went to the championship. Got it. And right now, I know a lot of people, whether you care or not, but I have the Knicks game on actually, and the Knicks are beating up on the Heat now by 8 points, 63-55, just starting the third quarter. Go Knicks. Or like say, go New York, or go. Right, Mike? Well, you're a Knicks fan as much as I am. No. So what do you make of the lineup? Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the All Star lineup. Yeah. Yes. Greg, are you there? Or Kayla? All right. Gerald, your thoughts on the All Star lineups, the starting lineups? It should be. You're right. Now, Gerald has a story that I was mentioning this past few days, something that might upset a few, quite a lot of wrestling fans out there concerning Vince McMahon, and this is gonna serve the WWE as a black dot. Please, oh no, it's Gerald's topic. That you can chime in at that. Go ahead, Gerald. That's true. We already know that though. Yes. It- did you get that? Yeah. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean that doesn't that that sounds very very disturbing. Uh, ugh. Right. It is. Yeah. Yes. It is. Right. Yes. Yes. Mm. Oh, he's gonna lose a lot. Any thoughts on that, Steve? Yeah. Hmm. Right. Yes. That's right. He's got to be covering. He's got to be covering something up. Smell a rat? Yes. Yes. Right. I think if he didn't, I think he wasn't guilty. He wouldn't resign. I think he's covering something up, and he's not going to tell. So he's going to say, "That's it. I am stepping down." Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've had my eye on this for a while. Right. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Greg. Yes. Right. All right. Uh, very, very true. Yeah. Yes. Easy. That's true. He is. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Greg. Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know it. I think I know what it is. All right. Okay. We'll get back to you on that one. All right. Yeah. None. Yes. I keep it short, guys. We're only going out. Right. Yes. Yes. Mm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That is a good question. Mm. Okay. I'll review it towards the end of the show. Not now. Okay. Turning attention to baseball for a minute. The Baseball Hall of Fame welcomed three new members on Wednesday: Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, and Joe Mauer. Well played, Mauer. Looking by the numbers, Beltre had the most, received at 95.1% of the vote. Helton had 79.1 and Maurer 75.6. Barely made it. You need 75% at least to get elected into the Hall of Fame. Beltre is the fifth Dominican Republic born player in the majors to make it. He is one of 12 players with 3,000 hits and 400 home runs. His 477th home run was ranked third among third basemen, only behind Mike Jack Schmidt and Eddie Matthews. That's good company. Helton, a slugging left-hander, joins Laurie Walker as the only two Rockies players ever selected into the Hall of Fame. A career 316 hitter and 372 batting average in 2000 is tied for the best mark of the century with Nomar Garcia Parra and Ichiro Suzuki. This was his sixth year of being eligible. Mauer made it in his first year being eligible catchers. He has won 7 batting titles. Wait, the catchers have only won um, the batting titles 7 times. Three of them belong to the Minnesota native. He won 3 Gold Gloves and was the 2009 MVP. Although the Yankees won that year, haha. Just missed stars Billy Wagner, 5 votes off at 73%. It is next to last year being eligible. The lefty had 422 saves in his career, 6th all time in saves, and has a high probability of making the Hall next year. He should have been a long time ago. I mean, 422 saves and he's still not in. Come on, I think he's very worthy of getting into the Hall of Fame. Gary Sheffield climbed to 11.6 in his last year of eligibility. Is now climbed to 63.9% in his final year of eligibility. So now he must rely on the contemporary era, which will be next year. Yeah, Sheffield's kind of borderline. Off the ballot for sure are Jose Bautista, Victor Martinez, Bartolo Colon. Oh boy, I know someone's not happy about that. Matt Holliday, Adrian Gonzalez, Brandon Phillips, and Jose Reyes and James Shields all received less than 2% of the vote. And what's even worse is Reyes and Shield got zip, dilly squat, nada, nothing. Wow, that's insulting. They got nothing. No votes at all. Ooh. God, how do you think that's a shock? Yeah. What do you make? Yeah. But no votes? Eesh. What does that tell you? Yeah. Well, what do you make of the 3 players that did it? Only 3 this year, though. Boy, the Hall of Fame is really shrinking on that. What do you make of the players who did make it, though? No, that'll never happen unless they film him posthumously. Mike, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Right. Yes, you're right. Yeah. No, you're right about that, Greg. Oh, yeah. Some of them will have to be voted in through a special committee. That'll take care of it. They'll have that'll be taken care of by that. Other than that, they won't get in. Sorry to say. Yeah. No, Cuban's gone. Yeah, that's pushing it now. Cuban. I'll give it Cuban. Too far back for some of us. Hey, Steve, I got something for you here. The Wizards are making a change to the head coaching position as they announced that Wes Unseld Jr. is moving away and going into the front office. After several conversations with Wes, we determined that change was needed for the good of the team. You can say that again. Said by the president of Monumental Basketball, Russian Michael Winger. Wes embodies the characteristics we value in the organization and his vast basketball experience will be an asset in the front office as we progress to move forward for our long-term goals. Unfortunately, this year, I mean, over the past few years, the Wizards have not been great. I mean, Unseld finishes with a very lackluster record, 77-130. He had 35-47 in his first 2 years, but this season is just absolutely pathetic. I mean, only the Pistons are worse in the Eastern Conference, 7-36 at the time of this article. So I think a change is definitely needed for your Wizards right now because your Wizards are, ugh, I can't even describe it. It's just that bad. They should. Yes, he was. Mm, right. That was. Hear that? I didn't really hear that. No, I didn't hear that. Yeah, I know the Milwaukee Bucks, right? I don't get how do you fire someone with how do you fire a coach that has you're 2 games out of getting first place in the conference and you fire him? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe. Right. Yeah. Right. Mhm. Right. Yeah, but that's not what I was mentioning. Um, because do you how do you fire a coach that's done so well for you, and just like that, you're gonna fire him for what? Adrian Griffin. Yeah, Adrian Griffin. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Oh yeah. Bye bye, Roger. Yes. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Don't go there. We don't want the NBA becoming the WWE Part Two. Thank you. Ugh. No, thank you. So anyway, to comment on this story, it's a two-parter. The first, the Bucks hired Doc Rivers as their new head coach after the unexpected firing of Adrian Griffin on Thursday. Only 43 games into the season in his first season too. That's Griffin. Rivers took over a team that's 30 and 13, 3.5 games behind the Celtics for first place. The Bucks hired Rivers on their sights for their second title in 4 years. The Bucks stunned the NBA and me by firing Griffin 30-13 record. Griffin took over from Mike Budenholzer, who was fired out of the Bucks is stunning, to say the least. First, of course, Budenholzer was fired after the Bucks made a very shocking first-round exit against the Miami Heat. Well, I don't know if we should have fired him over that. General Manager John Horst declined to comment why Griffin was fired, but they were saying a decline on defense and analytic measures might have convinced the top brass that Griffin was not the right man for the job. Really now, 30-13, you're on the brink of getting first place, and he's not the right man for the job. Is there something wrong there? Is that anyone who thinks that, or does anybody else think the same way I do? Because I don't think it was right, unless there was something that happened behind the scenes that we don't know about, and that's why Griffin got fired. But other than that, it doesn't make any sense at all. If you were, say, 13-30 or something like that, or as bad as the Detroit Pistons, I mean, yeah, then you deserve to get your butt thrown out. But this, I don't think, it ain't legit at all. But even though I don't like the team. So, yeah. Let me ask Roger. Yeah, let me ask Roger. Yeah, on the Bucks sudden firing of their head coach and Doc Rivers of Adrian Griffin and being replaced by Doc Rivers. Let Roger speak. Hold it. Right. Let Roger do it. Maybe. Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Maybe it was. Roger, your thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If it was the other way around, then it would make more sense to fire the guy. But in this case, I don't think there was any legit reason to fire him unless something did happen, unexpectedly behind the scenes that we don't know about. Maybe that's what happened. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right. Okay. So moving on, the Bucks believe Doc can lead the Bucks to find their identity and guide them to a title. Yeah, sure. He has done that with the Celtics, but that was back in 2008. Since 2013, Rivers has failed to advance past the second round of the playoffs, despite the Clippers and Sixers having rosters built for a championship contending team. Mhm. Rivers was fired last May from the Sixers after three straight exits in the second round that featured current MVP Joel Embiid. His dismissal ended 24 straight years as an NBA coach. That includes stops with the Magic, Celtics, and Clippers. He did not leave basketball entirely as he became an analyst for ESPN's NBA coverage. He also took the role as a consultant to Griffin in December, according to The Athletic. The role was the uh, behest of the Bucks, according to the report, and apparently paved the way for his new full-time job. Well, if you failed to get past the second round the last 3 years, I'm not sure Rivers is going to be your answer. You know, well, I don't know about that, Steve, but I don't. Getting fired, you don't get past the second round. I think they might be making a mistake here. I think they just should have kept. They should have kept Griffin. They should have kept him. Yeah. Marty? Oh yeah. Oh, Marty. Marty. Yeah, yeah. Right. It is. It is. But people well, right. Something well, as the old saying goes, something's gotta give. Okay. Okay, now we turn to our idiot factors of the week. Indiana Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle was ejected in a Wednesday night game after their loss to the Nuggets after arguing with officials on what he thought was a missed foul on Pascal Siakam. Midway through the third quarter, Siakam drove to the hoop and tried to make a off-balance layup through Nuggets guard uh, Kevinius Caldwell Pope. Siakam missed the layup and crashed down on the court as Nuggets grabbed the rebound and went the other direction. Carlisle, clearly thinking that, or the city was thinking, that Siakam was fouled. Then he started to scream at officials as quickly he was technical foul, and then received a second technical foul. He was charging an official, and that was the end of that. He had to be held back by assistant coach Lloyd Price and was ejected. So there's your first idiot of the week. You know, it's not just the players sometimes, people. It can also be the coaches. It can be idiots as well. And going after the official, charging after him, yeah, that makes you an idiot. Don't we agree, fellas? Yeah. You're supposed to set an example for your players, and then you go do something like that. Ridiculous. All right. Gotta turn to hockey a bit because I found this kind of interesting yet comical. All right. The NHL All-Star game, which is next week, will have team celebrity captains. And wait till you hear some of these names that are on it. Oh, wow, wow. Uh, comedian Will Arnett, singer Michael Bublé, but he does have hockey connections. Canadian singer-songwriter Tate McRae, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, Justin Bieber. Oh, boy. Eek. Yeah, who'll be celebrity captains for the All-Star game next week in Toronto. I think I'm going to be sick. The All-Star game will take place February 3rd at Scotty Bank, NHL Arena. The news, along with the team captain's lineup, was released on the 20th. Bieber, blue jersey, is team captain for Team with Toronto Maple Leafs forward Austin Matthews as captain, and Maple Leafs defenseman Morgan Riley as assistant captain. Arnett will wear white as team captain for Team McDavid, joining Edmonton Oilers forward Connor McDavid as captain, and Oilers forward Leon Draisaitl in the. And let me tell you something, guys. The Oilers are really tough to beat now. They have won 15 in a row, and they're looking to break the all-time record for a continuous win streak at 17. So I think I'm gonna keep my eye on Edmonton coming down the stretch here. Oh boy, that is gonna be tough to beat. Continuing on, is someone having trouble with their phone? Hmm. Easy on it. Yeah, don't go there, please. Yuck. Arnett will wear the white as captain for Team McDavid, joining him Oilers. I'm sorry. Buble has been named celebrity captain for Team Hughes. The team co-captained by New Jersey Devils forward Jack Hughes and his older brother Quinn will wear the red jersey. Buble also has a small stake in a minor league team from a junior team from Vancouver. So, okay, I get the connection with that. McRae, who will serve as celebrity captain for Team McKinnon, Colorado Avalanche forward Nate McKinnon is captain alongside assistant captain Cal Maker. Avalanche defenseman, they'll sport yellow at the game. Bieber's a fashion trend. Drew House worked with the NHL and Adidas to collaborate on designs for the 2024 All-Star collection. Good grief. All right, guys. So what do we make of this with the celebrity captains for the NHL All-Star game? I kind of think of it as a bit of a joke. All right, Steve, we'll start with you. I mean, Justin Bieber. For a 12-year-old. I will say I do like the format though with a 3-on-3. It makes for a much faster and much smoother game. So I like the way it's going to be played. But the way they have these team celebrity captains, picked out, no, it doesn't have any merit whatsoever. Mike, what do you make of this? Really think so? Huh? I think it's too comical to be honest with you. Roger, that's okay. I appreciate your honesty though. Gerald, Greg. Okay, in other words, no comment. All right, that's fine, guys. If you don't, that's fine. I appreciate the honesty here. That's what counts. All right. Let's see what else we can find here. Oh yeah, as I said, the Orioles winning streak just completely continues. They're now up to 15 in a row. I mean, just unbelievable. Let me update that though. Yeah, 15 straight, and it's just they're on a tear, and I think they're going to even break the record. It is just uh, unreal. I've never seen a team this good, not since Pittsburgh 30 years ago when they had 17 in a row. But they are just outdoing their opponents and whatnot, and just putting everybody else into shame. I mean, they're running their opponents ragged, and they can hardly keep up with them. They're just too good. The Edmonton Oilers, they won 15 straight now, and now Thursday's win I think was pretty obvious because they did play against the Chicago Blackhawks, which are pathetic this year. Ugh, so no surprise there. Connor McDavid scored 2 goals and assists, and goaltender Calvin Picknard made 27 saves for his fifth career shutout. Zach Hyman scored, and Leon Gestalt made 3 assists for the Oilers, who won 15 straight. Is the fifth NHL team to do that. Got that, guys? Fifth NHL team to win 15 in a row. The Penguins hold the all-time record with 17 wins in the 92-93 season, but they did not win the Stanley Cup that year. Anybody know who did? No, no, no. That was 93-94. A year before that. Does the Montreal Canadiens ring a bell? Yep. That was the last. No, no. Montreal. Montreal in 1992-93. Even though that, yeah, that was the last team anyway, because that was the last Canadian team to win the cup. So anyway, the Oilers are now 23 3-0 in their last 26 games. That's disgusting. Overall, I think he played 60 solid minutes, said Ryan Nugent Hopkins. We made it simple. We understood that this would be an easy one, and we would not trade chances. They don't give up too many odd man rushes, so it's going to come with a lot of shots from the points and the rebounds building off that. You're telling me. I thought we did a good job staying around and staying confident in our ability to be there and get 2 points out of it. Pignar was called from the minors to back up Stuart Skinner after Jack Campbell struggled and was sent down to the minors. That's when the Oilers were not doing that well. This was actually Stewart's first shutout since November 2018, when he was with the Philadelphia Flyers. Sorry, folks. You know I have to feel with the Flyers. So, Peter Petar Marzek stopped 31 shots in the losing effort as the Blackhawks have now lost 19 straight road games and have a miserable road record of 4-22-1 on the road this season. That is the worst in the league. Oh, eugh. And yet he did sign a 2-year contract with Chicago. I don't know why, but I mean, you had the best against the worst, a total mismatch that I've totally expected. But you had to give the Oilers credit on what they've done this season after not starting out so well. Now they've won 15 in a row and are in prime position, I think, for a postseason run here. This is going to be a very dangerous team heading in the last 2 months, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get maybe the first or second seed in the West. Steve, we'll start that with you with the Oilers and Messier and Rudy and all that. Oof. Yeah, yeah, Mike. Mm. Well, if you're an Oilers fan, yeah. All right. Anybody else in the crowd? Yeah. Think so? Is that right? Hmm. Oh yeah. Right. I forgot. Yeah. Well, if you like that kind of stuff, sure. All right. Uh, just going back to football for a minute. The Detroit Lions, of course, have made the AFC Championship game. Um, wait, they've only made it once. That was back in 1991. Quarterback Barry Sanders was in his third year, um, but lost to a good Washington Redskins team. I think Steve remembers that, right? Right. All right. From that point on, the Lions have been, the cellar dwellers, and only appearing in one championship appearance. The Houston Texans are the only team not to make to the Final Four. But then again, they've only been around since 2002, while the Lions go back to the dinosaur era back in 1934. Sorry. This season, however, the Lions are rewriting off the sad playoff history. Now the Lions have just one playoff win in the Super Bowl era before this postseason. Now have doubled that in the last 8 days. I could triple that with the win tomorrow. The Lions beat the Bucks last week, 31-23, and are heading to only their second conference championship in their history. That is a sad statement. They've been around since the 30s, and yet they have never had a great postseason and barely have gotten into it. I mean, that really tells something, and yet they stay in business. I'll never figure that out, though. They took a 14-point lead in the fourth, but they need to hold on the last 2 minutes. Linebacker Derek Barnes made an interception to seal the win for the Lions with 93 seconds left in regulation. Thank you. So the Lions will face the 49ers tomorrow in the NFC Championship game. That'll be the second game played tomorrow. The Lions face a tough challenge from Bucks from the Tampa Bay. Looked like they could have pulled the easy upset, but this is a resilient Lions team. It does not carry the weight of all those other Lions teams that never made it to the playoffs, much less win any playoff games to begin with. But the Lions this time, the Lions look to change all of that. The Bucks should have had the lead in the first half. They had a pass go off Mike Evans' hands that was intercepted. Jared Goff threw a pass that should have been easily interception for Bucks cornerback Jamal Dean. He dropped it though. After it was in the hands, the Bucks then missed a field goal by Chase McLaughlin, who had 93% of his field goal attempts this season, and he missed this one. Okay. Despite all that, the Bucks tied the game at a half. A long pass to Evans got the Bucks 2-yard line, and Cade Otton caught a 2-yard touchdown in the corner of the end zone. The game was tied at 10. The Bucks outgained the Lions 233 to 134 in the first half. Baker Mayfield had 181 yards, and 97 of those went to Evans. They went into the half with confidence. The Bucks won the NFC South and a playoff game in that horrible division. Mayfield had a season that revived his career. The Bucks were a tough out for the Lions, but the Lions were the superior team as they took control later in the fourth. You got to give them credit. I mean, this team has been through so much, never had really any good playoff runs, and now they could wipe that all away tomorrow with one more win and go to their first Super Bowl. This would be one of the greatest stories in football and sports all year. Go ahead. Yes. Right. You do. You do. Right. Yes. No, Ravens for the Chiefs. 49ers. Hold it. We'll do our picks later. We'll do our picks of the short the sort of things. All right. Yes. We'll get to that in a minute. All right. Turning to basketball again, Stephen Curry of the Warriors did not make the um, starting 11 for the All Star game, but did hit on plans for at least one event over the All Star weekend. Curry was wired with a hot mic during Thursday's game against the Kings and had a discussion with his teammate Braden uh, Posbensky about WNBA star Sabrina Liscu, who scored 37 points at last summer's three-point contest and topped Curry's performance of 31. Looks like he has some work cut out for him. And he wants to challenge her to a three-point competition. Ooh, I'm going to like this. Curry is not out of the All-Star game entirely. He could be named a reserve next week, which I'll cover that. Sabrina topped by saying, I'll see you at the three-point line. Hey, I kind of like this. It's kind of reminiscent of, say, Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs back in '73, right? Yeah, I kind of, I kind of like this idea. Litzke and Curry in a 3-on-3 competition, a 3-point competition. I kind of like it. Steve, your thoughts? Yes, of course. Uh, Mike? Yeah. Roger, any thoughts on this possible 3-point competition? I know, but I mean, it's just for fun, really. But still, I think it'd make it very interesting in a 3-point competition. All right, so now we'll do our NFL. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so now we'll do our football picks since we only got a half hour left. So let's get that over with. All right, so game number one, and it goes like this: we got the Chiefs and the Ravens playing at 3 o'clock. Well, look at the numbers they've had this year. Mahomes has passed for 4,183 yards this year with 27 touchdowns and 14 receptions. Pachero has 205 rushing yards, nine carries, a 935 rushing yards, and 7 touchdowns. And Kelsey, Travis, 984 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. All right. So who do we have between the Ravens and the Chiefs? All right. Steve. All right. Mike. Gerald, let me back. Greg. Yeah. All right, Roger. Yeah, I'm gonna go the Ravens too, but it should be a very competitive game. And in the second game, like I said before, between the Lions and the 49ers, which should be a very competitive game, a very high scoring game, if I do say so myself. Golf finished the year so far with 4,575 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. McCaffrey has 1,459 rushing yards on 272 carries and 14 touchdowns. And St. Brown, 1,515 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. Wow. I mean, this is gonna be a solid game. All right, Steve, who we got between Lions and 49ers? That's a 6:30 game, by the way. We'll see about that. All right, Mike, Greg, and Roger. I'm gonna go with my sleeper pick, and I'm still gonna take the Lions. Yes, so we'll see about that. Okay, you guys were asking me earlier what's my favorite snack food, so I want to hear what yours is. Your favorite snack food for the game, Steve. I'm gonna start that with you. Ooh, I like that. All right, Mike. Okay, Roger. Snack. All right, I like that. Uh, Greg. No, favorite snack for the game. Favorite snack for the game. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, yeah, yeah. Chips will do. I think chips will do it for me. Any kind. I prefer the Ruffles kind. So, I like to keep it simple. And of course, most Sunday it's all about the food as well. So we'll take more comments on that one in 2 weeks for the Super Bowl pregame show. All right. So now back to more football. Former Patriots coach Bill Belichick has now made two visits to Atlanta Falcons regarding their coaching vacancy. Last Friday, former head coach of the Patriots interview with members of the Falcons again on ESPN. Belichick is the only head coach the Falcons had met twice, and both times in person. While the Falcons are the only team Belichick is reportedly interviewed for. The Falcons coaching search also included meetings with Michigan head coach um, Jim Harbaugh, but that has now been changed. Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator Idro Irvo, Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson, and 49ers defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. Ravens defensive coach Steve Ravens Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald and assistant coach Anthony Weaver. Candidates who are currently employed cannot interview, as in the playoffs, in person until last Monday, and after the teams are no longer playing. One name to look for is former Titans coach Mike Varble. He is reportedly said to be interviewed by the Falcons this week, if he hasn't already. The Falcons are looking for a new head coach to replace the recently fired Arthur Smith, while Belichick is in an open market after winning 6 titles in 24 years with the Patriots. Belichick said the Patriots agreed. Yeah, Belichick. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Belichick. Yeah, Belichick has 302 wins, just short of George Hallis for second, and 27 away from John Shula for regular season. Belichick also has the most postseason wins with 31 wins. Let me finish the questions, guys, first, okay? That's important. Now I'll get back. Now I'll get back to the other article here. Don't forget, I can keep myself up to date. Uh, yes. Yeah, well, I'll try to. All right. Speaking of Jim Harbaugh, he is now going to become the next head coach of the LA Chargers. Source told ESPN just on Thursday. Harbaugh is considered one of the Chargers' most favorable candidates due to the success at every level he's had since his coaching career began back in 2006 in San Diego. It's a homecoming. Jim. Harbaugh. Uh, Harbaugh has success with Stanford, Michigan, and the NFL as head coach of the 49ers, even though they didn't win the Super Bowl there. Uh, there is a connection he has with the Chargers as he was the quarterback there for 2 seasons. Okay, good enough there. As a college coach, Harbaugh has a 144-42 record and won 3 Big Ten titles and won Michigan's first title since 1997. He restored Michigan back to a winning program after slipping out with coaches Brady Hulk and Rich Rodriguez after the retirement of national championship coach Lloyd Carr. Harbaugh snapped an 8-game losing streak against Ohio State in 2021, leading them to 3 straight Big Ten titles and 3 playoff appearances. After 2 semifinal losses that extended Harbaugh's bowl game losing streak to 6, Michigan outlasted Alabama in the Rose Bowl and then took care of Washington in the title game, leading them to a perfect 15-0 season. Yeah. Harbaugh spent 4 seasons as 49ers coach from 2011 to 2014 and named Coach of the Year his first season. He did lead the 49ers to a Super Bowl 47, but lost to his own brother, John, who is now coach of the Ravens. Oh, dear. Who does mom like best? No, I'm kidding. Harbaugh left the 49ers in the 2014 with a very respectable 44-19-1 record. Now, here's the interesting thing, guys. The Chargers will face the Ravens in 2024, so it's brother against brother again. Oh, boy, I can't wait to see that one. He's in. He's in. Yeah, which I don't think was right. Jim won was similar challenge with the Chargers, who ended 12 this season and only had 3 playoff wins since 2008. Yeah. Another test for Harbaugh will be the construction of the Chargers roster next season, as the team is going to take a 27.5. It's going to be 27.5 million over the cap. The Chargers fired Stanley and this is Tom Telesco last month after a disastrous 63-20 loss against the Raiders. The Chargers went through a massive coaching search of 15 candidates before deciding on Harbaugh on Thursday. Wow. Okay, now you can make your comments, but keep it short. You got 2 minutes. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Let me get Jim. Let me get James' thoughts. James, since you just came on, What do you make of all these thoughts? And I want your football picks after that. Yes. Uh, right. Yes. Right. Yes. No. No, we don't. All right. So your picks for this week's game. Chiefs and 49ers. Okay. All right, I'll buy that. And I think we okay. Hmm. All right, we'll get to this in a minute. So we got that all straightened out. Now, but back to the other news. All right, for you hockey fans out there, Zach Parise is back, but not with the Devils. He's going to be with the Avalanche. The club announced that he was signed for the rest of the season. Sorry, Devils fans. Parise, who spent the last 2 seasons with the Islanders, yuck, has been without a team since the start of this season. Last season, he had 21 goals and 13 assists in all 82 games, and it was the 11th time in his career that he had 20 goals in a season. So, congratulations on that. Uh, he is the most pivotal issue for the Avalanche is to win another title. Their lack of secondary scoring proved to be one of the factors why they failed to be a champion last, as they were in the first round, and something that general manager Zach McFarland as front office in the offseason as they acquired Ross Colton, Jonathan Doran, and Ryan Johansson and Miles Wood. The arrival of those additions became more vital as they started the season without Gabe Hancock, who sustained a right knee injury that required two surgeries, and one that happened last May. Ugh. The last time Brazy played for the Avalanche was during the Stanley Cup run. Earlier this month, he skated with, and so they're looking for maybe to starting with a game. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, I know a few people who are Devils fans are not too happy about this, though. Of course, I'm not going to say who, but you get the idea, right? Right. Just to be sure of that because of course Zach did play for the Devils. All right, this week. I trouble with my sites here because It's not coming up here. We did. Oh, Alex. Well, did I get everybody's picks or no? Go ahead, Gerald, and Alex too. Alex, straight up, straight up. We do straight up here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, we got some tennis news I got to mention here because the Australian Open is just about to wrap up. First up, this today, Ariana Sabalenka, I hope I'm saying that right, rolls to an easy victory in her second straight title down under by defeating Zhang Quen of China 6-3, 6-2 in the women's final. Dominant from the first start, the defending champion blasted her way through Zhang's first set on three occasions to wrap up the match in just 76 minutes and became the first woman to win back-to-back Australian Open titles since Victoria Azarenka in 2012 and 2013. Sabalenka's second Grand Slam title capped off a dominant fortnight after winning a perfect 14 sets and dropped 31 sets throughout that run. Zhang, seeded 12th, was playing her first Grand Slam final and was feeling the pressure from her first service games, winning all but 1 point on her first serves and not giving Zhang a further break point. Oof. The second set was just like the first, as Sabalenka broke in the first game thanks to 3 of Zhang's double faults. That gave Sabalenka the edge in the second and pull out of reach. So congratulations on that. The men's final is tomorrow, and the Joker is out. I gotta get to that. Yeah, you never know when you get to this point in the season. And don't forget, though, he's a veteran, so I think he's just starting to lose a little bit of steam. Oh, and the Minnesota Wild acquired defenseman Will Butcher from the Pens in exchange for forward prospect Maxim Kovalik on Thursday. Butcher's not played since the 2021-22 season, as he reported the NHL squad of the Wild. He was named to the All-NHL rookie team in 2017-18 after totaling 44 points and 5 goals with the Devils in 2017-2018, so congratulations on that. Butcher has 114 points in his career with 16 goals for the Devils and the Sabres. Yuck. Sabres. Oh, before I go on, let me get your thoughts now. Steve, your best and worst of the month. Now the worst. Uh, okay. Mike. And your best? But January has not been kind to that. Gerald, your best and worst. Yeah, same here. Roger? Mhm. Okay, James? Yeah. Mm, yeah. Alex? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think there was an incident during the Buffalo game in the playoffs in the first round where a fan got shot, and I think that because nothing worse than losing your life. So that's my worst moment. And the best moment, I'm surprised I was thinking this: Michigan beating Alabama in the Rose Bowl on the way to the championship. Sorry, Steve. Ah, Okay. Now, getting back to that Falcons article we were just mentioning, the Falcons said they did plan to hire former LA Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, as they now have. Morris replaces Arthur Smith, who was fired at a 7-10 record in the pathetic NFC South. It is pathetic. This is a homecoming for Morris in Atlanta, who was part of Dan Quinn's Falcons staff from 2015 to 2020. Morris took over as interim coach for the last 11 games in 2020 after Quinn was fired. The Falcons interviewed 14 different candidates, such as Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh, who was hired by the Chargers on Thursday. So we got that taken care of. Thank goodness. In what we call the edition of "You're fired." Gotta win your games, guys. You know that. All right. Doug Peterson and the NL Division Champion D-backs agreed to a 1-year, $9.5 million deal that includes a multiple option for 2025. He has been a consistent power threat over a decade in the National League with 186 home runs for the Dodgers, Cubs, Braves, and Giants. The outfielder was an all-star with the Dodgers in 2015 and the Giants in 2022, but 2023 goes, not good. Only batting .235 with 15 home runs. He won a pair of World Series titles back-to-back with the Dodgers in 2020 and the Braves in 2021. The D-backs have been active in the free agent market. After an unexpected run to last season's World Series, they also signed Erod Rodriguez as well. Yeah, and we're Erod, sorry. To a 4-year, $80 million deal and re-signed outfielder Lourdes Gurriel to a 3-year, $42 million deal. Samuel was at the practice field yesterday. It's the first time he injured his shoulder against the Packers. Ahead of the second practice on Thursday. Coach Shanahan said that he would be limited in practice for one day after failing to get to field practice on Wednesday. They held the final practice on Thursday before Sunday's NFC title game against the Lions. But it looks like he's going to play, so we'll see what happens with this. I don't know how good he's going to be, though. We had to think about that. Now, and Ravens tight end Mark Andrews was activated off the injured list, according to a source. That could be major for the AFC's number 1 seed, so even more so the Ravens have a chance to win. He was sidelined since he injured his left ankle on November 16th against the Bengals. He's been practicing last week and has been in full practice all week long. Since being selected in the 3rd round in 2018, Andrews has been Lamar Jackson's favorite target over the last 5 seasons and has been one of the best, most prolific tight ends, ranking in the top 3 with 347 receptions, second among tight ends, 4,305 yards receiving, good enough for 3rd, and second with 37 touchdown catches. Ooh, yeah. Earlier this week, Jackson described Andrews as his bread and butter, as it would mean a lot for Andrews if he were able to play. The Ravens thought that Andrews suffered a season-ending injury, but gave him an outside chance to return to the playoffs. To speed up his recovery process, Andrews brought a hyperbaric oxygen chamber into his home. Apparently it worked. Although I find it kind of strange, but hey, to each his own, right? Right. Without Andrews, backup Isaiah likely helped the position in the passing game. Very likely indeed. Sorry. In 7 games since Andrews has been absent, likely has been the Ravens' go-to guy with 356 yards and 6 touchdown catches. Sometimes replacement is good. All right. Okay. Here's a good story. This year's NFL Comeback Player of the Year is a no-brainer, at least according to one finalist, Browns quarterback Joe Flacco. Despite a resurgent season of his own, said during an appearance on CBS Radio yesterday, he believes the award should go to Bill safety Damar Hamlin. I think I agree with that, for sure. Flacco said, I think mentally you just get back yourself to a point where you feel comfortable saying that obviously the physical part does not need any explanation, but the mental part, especially is really good. As I'm sure most fans know, Hamlin needed to be revived. on the field last season after suffering a cardiac arrest during a Monday night game against the Bengals. We all watched that in shock. He was hospitalized for 9 days after the incident. Hamlin played 3 games this season, including the divisional loss against the Chiefs. Flacco, meanwhile, did not have an offer to play this season until the Browns signed him in December. He threw for 1,616 yards with 13 touchdowns in 6 starts, leading the Browns to the playoffs before losing the Texans in the wild card. He said, "I don't even know why I'm getting up for the comeback award," said Flacco. "Most of the guys don't even know what they're coming back. That's my initial reaction. The other finalists are Baker Mayfield of the Bucs, Matthew Stafford of the Rams, and Tua Tagovailoa of the Dolphins. We'll go over that next week when we do all the awards." All right. And Sharon Moore is the new head coach for Michigan football. Moore replaces Harbaugh, who will become coach of the Chargers. Moore's contract for 5 years has a base salary of $500,000 with an additional $5 million in additional compensation in his first year and will increase by 2% in subsequent years. Moore will also receive $500,000 if he remains a head coach for the entirety of the year. And of course, it'll decrease by $1 million every year until the final year of his contract in 2027. But congratulations on that. To continue on with this, Moore served as Michigan's offensive coordinator and served interim coach for the final 4 games of the regular season as Harbaugh served as suspension. Moore finished those games as a 4-0 record with wins over Penn State and Ohio State, leading Michigan to their first national championship since 1987. Moore was hired at Michigan before 2018 as tight ends coach, who also made coaching stops at Central Michigan and Louisville. He was named the offensive line coach and co-defensive coordinator in 2021 when the offensive line won the Joe Moore Award at the top in college football in back-to-back seasons. Moore was a finalist for the Broyles Award for top assistant this past season. So congratulations on that. I want to see if I can get to the and Devin Booker, 62 points last night, and but they still lost to the Pacers. Oh, wow. How do you get 62 points and you still lose? Yeah. Now, Luka Doncic, 73 points 73 points against the Hawks, was the 4th highest in output in NBA history. Will Chamberlain, 7,800 points, and then 78 points. Bryant, 81 points in the game back in 2006. I remember that very, very well. Yeah. Had some big scores this week in the NBA. Wow. The offensive explosions happening before the All-Star game. Yeah. You know, it's that, guys. And we want to wish the Devils coach Ruff a speedy recovery as he was hit by a puck during a game on Thursday night. Oh, boy. Lindy Ruff. So we're praying for you, Coach. He was struck in the face behind the bench in a third period loss to the Hurricanes. He's not in any serious condition, but still, that's a tough loss right there. So we'll think about that. As I said, Djokovic is out as he went down to Yannick Skinner in 4 sets. As the Joker's shot at a 23 Grand Slam title has now been ousted. And was the first time that he had lost in a semifinal match or a final match in the Australian Open. Wow. Well, upsets do happen, guys. What can I tell you? All right, so we're just ready to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Next week, we've got another big show. We'll have all the awards posted out. We're going to go through all the divisions of the NFL in the way too early predictions for next season. We'll recap the championship games as well. And we got some probably some other baseball news as well and NBA. So on that note, have a good week, and we'll talk again next week, same time, same station. On that note, have a good week. Oh, all right. Yeah. No, 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 no. Oh, okay.